Well, good evening, and welcome on this Thursday evening, 15th of the 8th, 2024. 15th of the 8th, 2024. And those coming joining me on Instagram, those joining me on TikTok, those joining me on Facebook, those joining me on YouTube. Ted, how are you? Send your power, total up. Thank you guys there. We're going to have a wonderful discussion this evening in the UK here. And of course, I'll be joined by my resident guests as usual. Great and mighty things which are happening around the world as every day as we see. Every day there's something new. Some of the things that we're talking about is this bam, 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 bam. Keyboard warriors. Watch out in the UK. That's what they're saying. Keyboard warriors, watch out in the UK. They're after you. You know, boy 15, first in England to be charged with riot. Keyboard warrior, career jail for 15 months. Can you imagine? 15 months. That's a carer. Can you imagine? Carer jail for 15 months in the UK. This is the advent of the various police are going after people. Ukraine sets up a military right in Russia. As they say, what I say? Russia, come now. Let's see what the big man says, Mr. Putin. And of course, there's the first case of more dangerous Mpox found outside Africa. Jamaica declares state of emergency after 8 killed in weekend shootings. Cherry Lane murder suspect killer. TVJ News in Jamaica. So some serious things which are happening over the world here. But anyhow, let's get cracking. Well, good evening. Like a magic thing. Just what's that? Why am I hearing an echo? Gary, are you giving me an echo? Who's giving me an echo there? I'm having an echo. 1 second. I think it's Herbert giving me an echo. Let me ask him to wheel and come again. Gary, how are you, man?
I'm all right, my friend. It's great to be on the Sylbourne Sydial TV show. I missed last week. So,
yes.
It's great to be back.
Well, you know, last week I was on and I just went through the whole motion of the different things, just prepared myself to say the show must go on. I mean, there's never a dull day in the UK or in the world when it comes on to news and what is happening. We have seen in the recent days the riots which was taking place in the UK, and that was something which was very concerning. We see there were people waiting for. We were supposed to talk about that, people were waiting for something big to happen. Last week on the 7th, nothing happened. Was it a scapegoat, or was it that the populace of the UK came out and put the alleged far right people to shame? Don't know if that was it. Let me see if Herbert, you're back, yeah. We're at a little serious echo here from your side there, so I just had to yeah. And also, Gary, I mean, some serious things happening in Jamaica as well, but we one of the first things that I wanted to touch on, and it is something about the courts still going after, well, not still going after like I'm having issues with it, but the court and the police are still going after people from the riot. The recent one is about a 50 a lady which is it, a 53-year-old carer has been jailed after she admitted posting on Facebook. I don't want to say it repeated, but I repeat it for the sake of just the show. Don't protect the mosque. Blow the mosque up with the adults in it. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, that's not very nice.
Serious things there. With what is happening, and the incitement to racial hatred, the incitement to violence or so. What's your take about it? Do you believe that things have settled down, or that there need to be some very serious conversation at the same time?
Is it the first one? If things have settled down, do you see things settling down, Silver? You can answer your first question yourself. Do you see things settling down?
I see things like a little, what should I say, a lull. A lull. A lull is, it's like like you have these storms, like you had Beryl just recently, and then you got the eye of the storm. There's that peace and that tranquility there in a sense, but it's a sort of fake thing because eventually it's gonna blow up. You know.
I mean,
Um,
personally, I understand. I mean, if there's anybody out there that has ever experienced hurricanes, you know exactly um, what happens. I mean, as the hurricane approaches, there's a lot of wind, there's a lot of rain. The wind can be very strong. There could be a lot of
mm,
water. But as the eye of the hurricane moves, if you're lucky for the eye to move over and across you, you'll find where there is sunshine, there's warmth. Everything is
yes.
as if it's very idyllic because
Yes.
there's a sense of utopia. But then as the eye
Mm.
begins to move on, then you've got the winds and again you've got the rains. Now, what's been happening in this nation over the past couple of
Sorry.
weeks?
Sorry. What I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna pause. Albert. I'm just going to put a mute on your thing, and then when Gary finish, I bring you in. Yeah. No problem. Yeah. Go on, Gary.
Yeah. As I was saying that the beginning of July, probably July is August now. So let us say probably July, the beginning of August, that we've been having a stage of unrest in the country. Now, I'm surprised, to tell you the truth, I'm surprised, Sylbourne, that it hasn't happened already or it didn't happen before because the pressure has been there for a long time for what took place in Leeds, number one. But if you
Yes.
note, what's happened across the country after that it is not a mirror image of what happened in Leeds. I think it's just people or persons have taken the opportunity then to bring out um, the very thing that we're having to face, which of course the far right is coming out. The far right is out and is really pressing home their agenda, and I'm not
Yeah.
surprised. I don't think the politicians should be
Yeah.
surprised. I don't think there is anybody who has, and I'm not saying there's nobody who has sense, but I'm saying anybody who has any sense
Yes.
should
Yes.
understand that what is happening, it's just a part that is just the effect or the a slow effect of what's really taking place. And I
Yeah.
don't think it will settle down, Silver. I don't
Yeah.
think
Let
things
me. Yeah.
I
Let
think
me
things
inform.
will actually.
Yeah. Herbert. We got some feedback, but if you talk, it's okay. Herbert. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yes, Silver.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
picture that we're seeing, the picture we're seeing there is a 53-year-old lady who has been jailed after she admitted posting on Facebook, and it comes as prison sentence continue to be handed down. Her name was Julie Sweeney, sentenced to 15 months. And the other thing also, she's a carer for her husband. You know, you think that's fair?
well, it is going to show that she needs care herself
Yes.
because as an adult or adult-minded people, right? She should not be using her telephone to stoke violence.
Mm.
Yeah, Because one fool makes many,
Yes.
and these voices these days they go far and wide, and
Yeah.
there's no one to say no. Don't listen to her. She's wrong.
Yeah. Yes.
Everybody is listening to her,
Mm.
right? And that is where we have the rise of our the so-called comeback of far right politics or the far right movement in today's
Yes.
society. We see it in Paris, in France, here in the US, in all the G7 countries. See some semblance of the far right movement
Mm.
rising up
Mm.
its head, right? Being stoked by some so-called politicians who understands nothing about the politics themselves, but because they want to um, say that they have a following behind them, they tell people what people want to hear and not what they need to hear. So that
Also.
15-month sentence to me could be a little bit longer than 15 months. Somebody
Mm.
must learn a lesson.
Mm. What do we think about like the advent now of social media now, with the keyboard? The title is the keyboard warriors. You know what I mean, and so like that. What's your take on that now? Like is it like you said earlier, Herbert? It is left too late, but at the same time, it is something which is upon us now, whereby police are now going to people's home. You know,
Sylbourne, it's been too late. How many young people, young adults have committed suicide because they were being
What do you mean I
bullied,
can't have?
yeah,
right? They were being bullied by their peers
yes,
using a mobile phone.
mm.
Have those people been arrested? No, because it's gone on in the book as suicide.
Mm.
While they're out there still being allowed to continue bullying other people. So unless the police can start arrest people who are inciting violence using the keyboard, it
So
won't
so what
stop.
so what we are saying then is that, is that the keyboard has become a weapon. Gary, is that the keyboard has now become a weapon? A weapon
Well,
for good, and a weapon can be for good, and it can be used for evil.
but it is but Sylbourne and Herbert. I mean, don't you think that they already know that? I mean, what problems? What are the problems that they've been having already? They use it for racial. They use it for sexual. They use it for abuse, whether it be financial or any other kind of abuse. So is this any surprise? Is it a surprise? Sylvia? No, it's not.
So
No, it's
so
not.
mm,
So they're
so
making it look as if it's something that is new and they're having to deal with it. But they've been dealing with this thing for how many years?
yeah.
It's
So
nothing new.
okay, like the police there, like the police there, which I'm showing there now, and they went to this guy's house to arrest him
What?
based on certain thing which he has put out there. He has put certain things out there. Is it that they are using this particular time, the police, the government, to send a message? Is it a way like to quell the voices, but don't want to actually address the root or the elephant in the room?
Well, the elephant in the room is that there's no laws that have been put in place to prevent all these things from happening,
Mm.
right? I go back again. Look how many young people have committed suicide because of keyboard, people hiding behind keyboard,
Yes,
trying to
yes,
blackmail
yes.
them.
And some of them who have actually been bullied to the point of committing suicide as well. And they've been trying to speak to, yeah.
Of course, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Because remember, police will tell you if you can identify the person that is sending you messages, they can't carry out an investigation. Well,
Mm.
in truth and in fact, they can identify the person. The police can identify the person by obtaining the IP addresses from the
Mm.
victim's telephone, if they want to do. And we see the evidence of that where they have gone after this woman to arrest
And
her
others, and
because they
others.
have obtained, yes, because they have obtained the IP addresses. So how is it that back in it, a few years back they they weren't able to do?
So what we're saying then is that the police have become intentional in going after certain cases in a way. If they want to, they can.
Of course,
If they want to, they can.
every
Gary,
police force in the
yeah,
world has a cyber crimes unit,
yeah,
and all those devices come under that law, cybercrime.
yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, well, as I say, there's more persons that they're wanting to arrest. There was the thinking that there was going to be more kickoff last week. That did not happen. Gary, can I just ask, if you weren't here last week, your reflections on the recent riots, and do you believe the way or it is being handled? Do you believe that the government is missing out on an opportunity now to really have some very serious conversations and calling all stakeholders to the table?
If you notice, my friend, if you notice that I'm not saying that there hasn't been problems under a conservative party or on a conservative government, but
Yeah.
all of these things seem to only happen when a Labour Party comes in.
Yes.
All of these unrest. Now, I do believe when I look and I view how they are handling these things, and even of date, I mean, just look at the footage that's coming out on the media today about how they're handling these, as they would say, these racists or these people who are far right, and they're chanting all sorts of, all sorts of, what can I say,
racial words, slurs.
Yeah, racial slurs and such, etc., etc. Your listeners will know what I'm talking about. When you see how the police reacts when they're there with their truncheons or batons and riot shields, I want you and I want anybody to tell me if there's a difference between how they respond to them and how they respond to black people.
How they respond to them, who the rioters?
Well, what's happening today? Tell me, you describe to me how the police agencies are handling the rioters or the protesters or whatever it is that they say they're doing. Describe to me right now how they handle that and how they approach black people when black people are trying to make a point.
Let me put that to Herbert.
No, hold on. No, Herbert, you don't answer that. You don't answer that. I'm asking Sylbourne.
Yeah.
I'm asking Sylbourne to tell me, Describe in
Mm.
in in those two terms.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to talk about the rioters and the instigators of the riot, if anything, which is white, um, right wings persons, they go at it very hard on them. If it is black persons, like when they call it BLM, the
When you
black
hold on, when you say hard, what is it that you mean?
the full force of the law, there's zero tolerance.
Okay, but how do they express that?
How do the police express it?
Yeah.
Well, they arrest them, they beat them or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So how
Yeah.
then if they approach if it was black people now, what do you think they would do?
If it was black people rioting or so, and they are misbehaving, they'll go at them at the same time. But
Yeah, but
at the same time, I must say, during the BLM, things were sort of kicking off in a certain way, and they were sort of cautious as to how they operated.
no man,
I,
you're
am
being
I
too
am I
nice, Silbourne.
am
You're
I
being
being
too
too diplomatic?
nice, Silbourne. You're being too nice.
Am I
There,
being too
there,
diplomatic there?
yes, there are this there is much there is much a distinction between how, right, um our law enforcement agencies react to people of color than to people who are white. And I think we've got to have someone in the community or someone that is influential to give that distinction. There has to be. It's too blatant and nobody seems to be saying anything about this. A lot of the law enforcement agencies, they stand there. I mean, I saw a clip of of the police in Yorkshire, or where was this place now? And they raided the Holiday Inn Express, I believe. Yeah. They completely ransacked that hotel and used these things as missiles against the police. No, no. If that was black people, the police wouldn't be standing there with shields trying to defend themselves and push them off and trying to um you know to cause
What,
grievous
so what?
bodily harm to themselves. The
So
black
go on.
the police agency would have rushed, and I wouldn't have been surprised if police vans wouldn't have been approached. They would have gone in there probably with guns and all of them things there. I wouldn't put it past the police.
So what's your
There is a distinct um, uh,
operation?
how they act.
Yeah.
And it's too distinct, and nobody seems to highlight these things.
So what you're saying then is like there's a 3-tier system instead of a 2-tier. There's a 3-tier. How the police actually deal with things.
Well, it is. There is a distinction, and there's a vast distinction on how black people are treated and how the indigenous population is treated. Distinct. I'm seeing it's too blatant, yet it seems that nobody, or if there's anybody that sees the way how the reaction of the police agency is against black people.
Yeah.
Probably there is, and whenever they do speak out, they're dumbed down. Probably, they're put in some back room to say what they want to say.
Okay,
But
Herbert. Yeah.
Need to be said.
Yeah, Herbert, I'm getting a lot of feedback from your side, but go ahead, Herbert. Yeah.
Yeah. What Gary is saying, there's some level of truth to it, right? But I would hasten to say that when the police reduce when the government in 2010 reduced the police force by 20,000, and I'm talking 20,000 people, boots on the ground, it made issues like disputes become more more open, where the police can only stand and watch to see what's happening and look at the perpetrators and go after them afterwards. Right? So I wouldn't say they treat black people different. Yeah, we know they treat black people different. Right? And that's from slavery days. But we should also remember that the police forces are short. Right? They're short, they lack motivation and they lack the knowledge and the skills to deal with these rioters. And don't forget that there are far right operatives within the police forces as well.
Okay.
Right? So you're talking about standing back and allow their groups of which they are part to trash the community. Did you see what happened when the community came out and said, no, it's not going to happen, not today?
Or there was serious confrontation at the same time.
Yeah.
And they were fully outnumbered.
They were outnumbered. And that made me have hope that there's good in the society. Right? We cannot we cannot rely on the government or on the police to be our problem solvers. Because we know the problem makers. We have to be a part of the solution as well. And what the community did, what the community did last week, by preventing them from coming into their backyard to disrupt their way of life, we will see more of that in the future. The far right movements, the far right groups, they're short on numbers. And the reason they never show up in Walton store, Croydon, or wherever they want to show up, because the community community force was there. Their strength in numbers.
Yes.
And the communities, right? We cannot rely on government. We cannot rely on the police to do everything.
So therefore, what you're trying to say, that one has got to look back at the community as a sort of solution, community and the police working together in a way. The police commissioner said it was the work of the community. The government supported the community as well. Community activists came out and worked together collectively. We are seeing, therefore, also a boy 15 first in England to be charged with riot, because we have lots of children out there as well.
No, he's not the only. He's the first to be charged. But look, how many 14-year-olds and 13-year-olds have been charged for murder? Right? Even though he was charged for rioting, but he's the first one to be caught. He's not the first one to be involved in riots. He's the first one to be caught and made an example of.
Yes, and I think by the authorities coming out and charging these persons and using them as an example, people are realizing, hey, dog wouldn't have more suffer if anything like that, But anyway, based on what I'm seeing still anyhow, and many people are saying this as well, there's an opportunity here for the government to look at some of the key issues, the whole area of immigration, the whole area of community multiculturalism. I see different persons that are sort of rethinking and talking about multiculturalism. How has it failed? Has it succeeded? The indigenous are they being left behind at the same time? Last word on that, Gary, before we switch the subject. Sorry, Robert, you're saying you're gonna say something.
Go ahead, Robert.
Robert, you're gonna say something.
But who do you refer as? Who will you refer to as the indigenous? Is there such a thing anymore?
Well, the reality of the indigenous in the UK is white people, isn't it? I mean, they're the majority of persons in this country.
No, 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 but not because the majority makes them indigenous.
Gary, who
But
do you say is indigenous?
I mean, I would say you see, listen, we all know, right? I think we all know that this country will never look on us as British. The British will always be white, and that is the problem that has reared up its ugly head over these past few weeks in the various cities of this country. We've seen it and we're hearing it. Yeah. Now, I saw something on Facebook a couple of days ago, and I'm trying to see if I can find it again. It hasn't come up. I don't know if you've seen it, Sylbourne or Herbert, what I'm going to mention, but I saw where it was on Facebook. I don't know again if it was staged or anything. I'm not sure, but it couldn't have been because what I saw this guy go through, it was a Jamaican or a black guy. He managed to just walk in among some white patriots. I think that's what they. I think that's what the caption was, and
Yes.
they beat him up.
Yeah, I think I saw that. That's
I mean,
yeah.
they beat him up. They beat up this black guy and was
Mm.
kicking him and all that kind of stuff. Now, that's not strange. That's not strange to black people. It may not be as prevalent today as it was, but it's always been something from the 50s, the 60s, all the way through, right?
Yes.
And that is something that black boys today are not going to put up with because, you know, sad to say, the black boys are the ones that they say are carrying the knives. They say, quote, quote, that they're the ones that's carrying the guns. They say, quote unquote, that they're the ones that's carrying the batons and whatever to do harm. They're not they're not gonna do that. And
Yeah.
a lot of black guys, right? War is gonna take place is gonna break out here if they ever try to do it to some black communities. And that is what the indigenous population, part of the indigenous, is wanting to take place. That, my friend, I think that's the stark reality of the world in which we're living in. They don't want you, Herbert. They don't want you, Silbert, and they don't want me to have any part or parcel of this land, of this country. And you, me, Silbern, just for argument's sake, we could have every right because we are born here. We've got the British passport. We don't know anywhere else. They say we're from they say we're from Africa, and they don't even know that we're from Jamaica. Some of our grandparents, if you go way back, probably never came from Africa anyway. But they want to say that we're from Africa.
You,
They're,
you know, yeah. Last week on Talking Sip Saturday night, I spoke about identity, and I've been speaking to a different persons about identity and their children, and the fact that a lot of black people in this country, even Jamaicans, are born Jamaicans, born British of Jamaican ancestry, somehow don't feel a part or of this country of the UK, and then they'll go to Jamaica and also don't feel like a part of Jamaica in a sense. They're called English, and therefore there's this identity issue whereby persons are not sort of feeling very having any sound foundation, and then that I believe create a problem because if you don't sense of an identity of born in the UK and the UK is your country, then it's going to be very difficult for a race, if anything, to be very successful. And then if you say you want to go back to Jamaica, and then by the time 2 weeks in Jamaica, you get bored or so want to come back to the UK and then go to Jamaica, they'll say, oh, yeah, you're English. You don't really belong here. You try to speak your patois. So there's an identity issue, I believe, that people have to be grappling with, and I believe it has caused somewhat of a deficit in the black community, whereby many people say that the black community in the UK or African Caribbean are at the lower level. What do you think of that analysis there? What I've said?
It's
God's
you know,
identity.
well, I mean, it is a problem. I think it will there will always be a problem, and people will always think and look on us as second rate or second, or what's the word? Second class.
Second-rate citizen. Okay.
Yeah, or second class. They will always look on us as second class. That is why to some extent, I know we have some very educated men, black women. We've got some very, very successful black men, black women. They have done very well here in the UK. And I applaud those of my brothers and sisters, fathers and mothers, who
Yeah.
have come here, established themselves, educated their children and their grandchildren to reach the heights. But it has
Yes.
been it has been difficult for them. It
Mm.
has been very difficult, and it has not been without a struggle for our parents and grandparents, those who had grandparents who lived in this country.
Yeah.
It has been a struggle for them to be and for them to place their families where they are today. But at the same time, we must not forget. Again, we mustn't bite the hand that has fed us. I think
Yeah.
that I think that the so-called British Empire or the motherland has done us good. But we mustn't forget that there are elements on this land, on this little piece of land that we call England and the United Kingdom, that doesn't want us here.
Mm.
We must not walk with our heads in the clouds. We've
Yeah.
got to understand that there are elements in this very country that do not want us here. They don't want us to succeed. They don't want us to have businesses. They don't want us to have and to share in part of the wealth that is here. They want us to go home. And some of us as black people, yes, good us. But where is home? Because as you so rightly said, there's some who will go to Jamaica. Let's use Jamaica because we're all Jamaicans.
Yes.
There are some that would only go to Jamaica for holiday. That's all they can think of. They will never go to Jamaica to live.
That's
And
no.
and
I was
they,
gonna. I hold up my hand to say that I'll always go to Jamaica for holidays. But when they said to live, I said yes.
yeah,
I'll always go to live
yeah,
as well. But I
yeah,
always hold up my hands to go anytime I want to go anywhere. Is Jamaica. Yeah.
yeah. And let me just conclude on this point that yes, our parents, our grandparents, some of, I mean, they've left property, they've left houses, but some of our children, they will never go back to Jamaica again to live. They will go and stay there for holidays,
Yes.
but they're not going because they cannot identify as such in living in Jamaica. They feel more comfortable living here, and I think we've got to understand that. And the people who are up here, and I'm talking about the English, they've got to understand that. I don't understand, Sylbourne, how we've got the English here who will go to Spain, they will go to France, they will go to Germany, they will go the world and live anywhere else. They'll buy
And,
their
Jama-
home, they'll
and
buy
Jamaica's and
they
Jamaica's.
they will go to Jamaica. But some of them, they don't want them to come here. I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand. You see, so there is an imbalance. There is an imbalance to how things are looked at, and it has to be addressed. But we must not. We, the black man, the black woman, the black population, and again, whether we're from any island in the Caribbean or from Africa or from anywhere, we have to. We cannot live as if these things don't exist. We have to see quite plainly that
Yeah.
there is a section of this community, this country, that do not want foreigners, and foreigners across the board.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me go to Herbert there. I'm getting some serious feedback there. I'm not going to say fatal feedback. Herbert, I can't seem to unmute. Okay, I got to unmute him. Yeah, there you are. Yeah, yeah, Herbert.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
the bit
Yeah.
about the identity factor there.
Huh?
The identity factor,
You
that
see,
is something. Yeah,
I'm not identity.
yeah,
I mean, you ask people every day where they're from, and they tell us they come from the Caribbean, they come from Africa, but they were born here, right? And they don't have the identity of where they come from.
but you okay? Yeah, okay. I lost you there, Herbert. There, a bit about the identity factor, but that is something which is very very crucial as well. And I believe that as any Jamaican speaking to their young sibling or their children, what they should be saying to them is that if you're born in this country, this is your country. This is where you can build, and we've got to be very focused and very sure when we speak to them with a level of confidence, Gary. Even though the signs on the wall and some of the sounds coming through may be going against it, but what you have, which is in support of multiculturalism, is the whole aspect of laws. The laws and regulations and legislations give persons such a right. So therefore, if they go through the court of law, they can always have an action against racial elements, just like what we have seen of recent days. And what we have seen of recent days of persons going into the different areas where there was a potential for racial riot and upheaval, you saw the communities came out in a drove and say, we are here. And there's a complete mixture of white people, black people, Asians, and different races that came together as one. So, in a way, I believe there's a positive sign there, even though, as you rightly say, Gary, but from a tougher level and a higher level, there may be the move against wanting such assimilation, such sort of multiculturalism in the UK, you know, and that's a thought that I put out there for persons. Herbert, you're saying before we got disconnected. I don't know if we're going to get you back, Herbert. And see you there. But I just want to I just want to move quickly on onto something else there. And there's a lot that I could touch on too. But what I wanted to touch on too quickly is this whole thing about I don't know if I could tell you Russia, and what is Zelensky's up to? He's going into Russia now.
Yeah, man. Yes, man.
Yeah,
Because he's
control Russia.
showing Putin.
Yeah,
Huh? He,
take over
he
Russia.
he's showing Putin that I'm not going to sit down and take your licks anymore.
Uh,
What you do with bullies, you make bullies wasting time and energy on something that doesn't make sense, and then you
uh,
knock them back.
mm,
And that is what Zelensky is doing. I applaud him for the his tenacity to fight, right?
yeah.
And
I
I only hope.
I must say he's very consistent and he's very
Yes,
intentional.
yes, yes. No, he has superior air power, and that is what is making the difference.
Mm.
Yeah,
Gary, do you?
Putin,
Yeah, go ahead. Go on. Yeah.
Putin have nothing left.
Yeah. Gary, what's your take
Yeah,
on this with Putin there?
I think you see Zelensky is getting help. We've got to understand and
Yes.
also believe that Zelensky is getting the help. He's getting the help from all the European nations, and I believe that there's U.S. troops on the ground there. I
Yes,
believe that.
yes, because they said that some of the equipments that Russia blowed up was, they were pointing out British tanks, British drones, or whatever, the American bits and this. So therefore, Zelensky is getting a massive amount of help, as much as possible. Billions he's getting it.
Well, not well. He's getting help militarily, yeah, but there's boots on the ground. I think the intelligence that he's getting is not only getting it from his own soldiers, he's getting it from the US, he's getting it from the UK and all others. And I know everybody knows he's getting planes and tanks or whatever, but it's the personnel that he's getting, and I think because he's getting the personnel, then he's making.
Yeah. Are you alluding that Zelensky is getting boots on the ground from different countries, like mercenaries?
That's what I said.
I don't think so.
I don't
think so.
That's war. That's war, Gary.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it is war, but I think he is.
I mean,
now it may not be as many as many as the Ukrainian soldiers, but he's getting help. And one of these days, just like with everything else, it's gonna come out that there were agents in and around the area helping, pointing things out and such.
So what we're talking about is some serious so what you're saying is like there's some logistics. There are logistics persons on the ground there helping Zelensky. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, I don't have proof. I don't have the proof. I can't say that paperwork, but I believe that you see, when you listened a few months ago when they said it was told us that the Americans are going to be sending some F-35s or F-16s or whatever, and tanks and all of this, and it takes at least 18 months to train men to use these armaments. Now, a year and a half has not passed since they've received those that new equipment. So how are they being able then to use them so effectively?
Yes.
I'm not saying that there aren't some quick learning
when you have motivated people.
All of what's going on there, you have Americans and you have British personnel on the ground.
No, you had those who went because they were ex-military, right? Yes, those are there out of their own on their own volition.
Yes.
But the US, the UK, France, Germany, no. They have sent equipment, but they haven't sent any personnel. Anybody that has gone?
Have you got?
They have done so.
Have you got evidence? What you said? Have you got evidence?
A couple UK ex-military have died in Ukraine.
Okay, that's X. That's X. But have you got evidence of what you've just said?
Not from more than what I follow the happenings.
Okay,
right?
Well, I understand what you said, but still, somebody would have to show me evidence to tell me that what I'm saying is wrong.
I don't think so.
You have to show me hard evidence to tell me that there is nobody there on active duty that is not a part of the European and American armies, because I believe with the sophisticated equipment that they have, Herbert, and that which it has been said that it's going to take at least a year and a half to 2 years to learn how they use them. And it was only last year that they got some of these tanks and got some of these planes. And even then, it would have to take
Yeah,
time
but
for them. So they could
Gary,
not.
remember
They could not. If they have air
these tanks.
superiority, if Ukraine, you're telling me, you've just said that Zelensky has air superiority. Where is that coming from? Because they didn't receive no F-15s and 16s and 35s as yet. They had to be in the United States to learn how to use the machines. And the American says
Gary,
that 18 months to learn them. So you're telling me in 6 months they've learned what they should have learned in 18 months? No, Herbert. No, Herbert. I will
yeah,
not.
what's this? What's this? Let's let's take let's take the Zelensky. He's passed into politics, right? Is he a
He's part
career
of politics.
politician?
I mean, that's totally different than what we're talking about, Herbert. That's totally different. I think that's different. But he's
Pardon?
but I understand what you're saying about Zelensky not being a politician. But that is different. That is completely different when you're beginning to
Well,
talk about people who are using sophisticated machinery and equipment. That's a totally different platform, Herbert. Totally different.
Yeah.
I believe so. And bringing Zelensky in to say or to ask, is he a politician or such? I understand that, and there's nothing wrong with that because everybody knows that he was a comedian. Everybody knows that he played a fictitious president in his comedy show. They know that. So he wasn't a career politician. He was not.
But can one can
and that's
say
what I'm
that
saying.
one can say that he has proven himself to a certain extent, isn't it?
Well, yes. Okay, fine.
With a level of tenacity and a very focus. Herbert, what are you saying before I touch on Jamaica quickly? Yeah? Herbert, you're going to say something before I touch on Jamaica quickly. Okay. Herbert is sort of is in transit at the same time. Gary, there was
Yeah,
some serious. Herbert, yeah,
yeah. Go ahead.
yeah. There was some serious issue that happened recently in Jamaica. And based on the news report, I'm actually looking at the Guardian. Believe it or not, I'm looking at the Guardian that says Jamaica declares state of emergency after 8 killed in weekend shooting. 2 attacks in Clarendon killed 8 and injured 9. Government 9 as government look to focus on gang violence. You know, which is a very serious thing there. Jamaica Prime Minister has issued a 14-day state of emergency in the country's southern Clarendon parish amid fears of further violence after 2 shootings on Sunday. Let me just mute Herbert because I'm getting the feedback there. After 2 shootings on Sunday left 8 dead and 9 wounded. 7 people were killed when gunmen fired indiscriminately at a birthday party in Cherry Tree Lane, Clarendon. The 8th victim was killed in a second shooting. A 7-year-old boy is among those killed, and police have confirmed that a 1-year-old was injured. The government did not immediately say what the emergency measures would include, but these can typically involve nightly curfews, longer detention period without formal change, and giving police the authority to search properties without warrants. When we hear this, and that must break many people's heart, which is when they reflect back at home and this wanton murder. One cannot juxtapose or to say why things bother yard, but when one compare with different countries, like what is happening in the UK, we saw the killing of the 2 young daughters and the mother by a bow a crowbar. What do you call it? Arrow,
Crossbow.
crossbow. We saw the killing of the three girls, the stabbing, plus the other persons, and then just a couple of days ago, in Leicester Square, there was a stabbing of this 11-year-old girl by this crazy man, and I think the mother wasn't stabbed, but it was the blood from the daughter. But let's go back to Jamaica. What's your take on that, Herbert? Um, you know, is crime under control or is it out of
No,
hand?
no, it's not.
Crime is
It's not under control because
Mm.
prisoners are running Jamaica.
Because
Let's
what?
get it straight. Prisoners are running Jamaica.
Prisoners are running Jamaica.
From what I'm reading, from certain people I'm talking to,
Mm.
um, those murders were orchestrated by a prisoner,
Wow. Wow. In
and
prison.
he's not, and that's not the only um event to be orchestrated by a prisoner. It was revealed last month or earlier this month.
Yeah.
Police killed 5 down in Negril. They were
Yeah.
sent by prisoners to rob um the the um the beryllium money money trucks.
This is the one where they were in the water.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So prisoners are in charge of Jamaica and in charge of Jamaica's crime rate.
So we're talking prisoners or persons in prison have
People
some
in
level
prison,
of
yeah,
control, have some
yeah,
level of control as
correct,
to the level of crime in
correct,
Jamaica.
correct, correct.
But but Herbert and Silver,
Yes.
Yeah.
again, is that surprising? Is that surprising? This is not the first time, Herbert.
Mm.
Well, and that's why I say this is not the first time it happened,
Yeah.
right? So the government can do what they need all they want, but they need to put measures in place to prevent the use of mobile phones in prison. They need to.
Mm.
Well,
Prisoners cannot hold Jamaica's ransom. Criminals should not be allowed to hold Jamaica ransom.
Mm.
you see again, Herbert Sylbourne, and there are others of the Jamaican fraternity in and around within the borders of these United Kingdom in England, right? It's not only Herbert and you and me that know these things. There are others who know it. That over the years, from the 70s, the mid 70s, right,
Mm.
Jamaica has been run or influenced by criminal activities or criminal agencies. I think we have to call a spade, you know.
Mm.
We have to call a spade and let people know that these things is not something new that's just happened like within the last couple of days. It just hasn't happened like that. And it hasn't happened overnight. Neither has it happened in the last 3 months, 6 months, or a year. It is something that has always been part of the fabric. It's
Of
always
our
been
of our culture.
in there. Yeah, it's a part of it, Sylbourne. You know this. Herbert knows this. And as Herbert says, well, so to speak, that the government must stop giving knee-jerk reactions to every time something like this happens, because
Yeah.
there's always been shootings in Jamaica, and there's been worse instances than what has now been reported, and that has not come out. So why is this out there? The question is, what is so special about what's happened in the last however days? Why they're highlighting this, and there's been other criminal activities worse than this, and nothing's been said or said outside of Jamaica? What is
Yeah.
is the point? I mean,
Yeah.
what is it that they're trying to send?
Yeah.
Huh?
Let's play this quickly here. Let's play this quickly which is relating to the killing of the
And welcome back to Primetime News, and special welcome to the folks watching on onespotmedia.com and on TVJ International in the Cayman Islands. Up first this evening, a man identified as one of the suspects in Sunday's mass shooting in Cherry Tree Lane, Clarendon, has been killed. He has been identified as Steve Smith, otherwise called Thicka, or Fly Brain of a Comfort District, Yorktown address. According to reports, he was killed during a police military operation in Osborne Store district in the parish. He allegedly challenged the security forces and was shot. An illegal firearm was reportedly recovered from the scene. The deceased was previously named among a wanted list in the parish and was on the radar of the police. He is suspected of being involved in numerous contract-related killings and other serious and illicit activities in Clarendon and other parishes. Now, the security forces are calling on the murder suspects to surrender peacefully when they are being apprehended and not to challenge their members.
Yep. So I mean, Herbert, what you're seeing there, according to this video, this brief video from Jamaica, is saying that
Is that the end of it, Sylbourne? Is that all of the clip, or it ends there?
okay, let me finish it there. Let me finish it there.
Is investigating.
Oh yeah, that was it there. Yeah. There's a lot of bloggers and lots of persons talking about the whole thing and what is happening, and even regarding the killing of this person here, trying to show that things are happening in regards to getting persons out of the circulation, criminals. But Herbert, you have touched on something, and I must say I've been out of the loop in a way with lots of the bloggers in Jamaica, because they're the ones that sometimes give you some things on the ground. But you're saying, Herbert, that some of these murders or some of these big criminal acts are emanating from the prisons. Yeah, I think I'm trying to unmute. Yeah, you're there back. Yeah.
Yes, it's a known fact. Back in the 90s, when we started to get mobile phones in Jamaica,
Yeah.
the government tried many times to pass legislation to block the use of mobile phones.
Yeah.
And people made up, right?
While I'm trying to hear from Herbert, I'm on TikTok as well, and somebody said apparently it is tit for tat, and this one was apparently a reprisal discriminating. Yeah.
Right.
Herbert, we're not hearing you properly.
So if you prevent the government from doing what they're supposed to be doing legally, you're going to get blowback.
Yeah.
You're going to suffer the consequences.
Yeah.
Because yes, there are sectors in Jamaica who knows a criminal, who knows the producers of crime. They're not just criminals, they're producers of crime. And Jamaica is known to the outside world as a country who produce crime, who produce criminals. It's a known fact. Jamaica has one of the highest murder rates in the world, which we know. And it will continue to get higher because of the length of time
Gary, you said something a while ago that this is something which is not new to Jamaica. We all knew about it when it comes on to crime in Jamaica. Um, some talkers or some persons are actually saying in a way that, and I think the Prime Minister even said it, that they know the amount of gangs and they know all these different gangs who are in Jamaica. So if the gangs are known also, just like how they track and trace, if persons say things online and they try to find them, the question is, why don't they find and just get rid of these guys? The Prime Minister said either you meet a judge or meet the maker. Yeah, either you
No,
meet a judge or meet the maker. Somebody here. So, oh, Herbert, did you leave? I didn't hear you leave. Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, back again. Okay, you're coming from the cold.
Yeah, coming from the cold, no?
Yeah. Somebody said that law agencies are very angry at what happened in Cherry Tree. This was made clear yesterday, and they are going to come down heavy on this one. They have set up
Yeah, but
multiple rewards for. As you're going to say it's a knee jerk, Herbert.
no,
No.
it's what what I'm saying, right? They know the criminals for years. These men weren't just they they didn't just happen last week or last month.
right,
Yes.
right.
They've been going around for years. The police know them, they're known to the police,
Mm.
right? But there are certain oversight bodies, the Justice for Jamaica, Human Rights Watch, and all those that are limiting the police from carrying out their duties effectively.
You mean like Indicom and so like that? Indicom is a part
Yeah,
of. Yeah.
yeah. They're limiting the police back from carrying out their duties, right? So when a police party is out on patrol, and sometimes I feel for them, they come under fire but they cannot respond.
What, in fear of what? Breaching
In
certain.
in fear of being dragged over the cold by Indicom.
Yeah. Is Indicom regulated by the police? Is it a police regulation or
It's
organization?
uh, it's it's a government
A
the-
creature of parliament, as they say. A
yeah,
creature of
yeah,
parliament.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so people will be saying everything out of because of emotions are riding high,
Mm.
right? But we have to understand that there's something called due process,
Yeah.
and we have to allow due process to take place.
Take its full course.
Yeah.
And do you sense that at the same time that there are so many different, well, I think I heard something. I think I heard something that the police are saying that they're very concerned that a lot of some key information that they have, Gary, has been disclosed and is in the public domain. Have you heard that?
I mean, about what's happened in Jamaica.
In Germany, yeah. In some of the fighting regarding recently what happened, they're saying some of the key information that they have is out in the public domain, Herbert. I think I heard that.
It wouldn't surprise me
Yeah.
because there are factions within the police force that are just criminals in uniforms,
Mm,
right? They're the rats among the pigeons.
mm,
However you want to dress it up.
yes.
And as we see, as we saw last week, where that that fellow got released from prison, it was because he was aided by the police in hiding crucial or destroying crucial evidence.
Or the teacher.
Why
Mm,
why he was allowed to step out of the walls of prison,
mm,
right?
mm,
So it's it's not a far-fetched reasoning where they say that information meant to be kept within the police force is out in the public's domain. It's because of these unscrupulous, unethical police officers serving the Jamaica Constabulary Force, trying to get local ratings out of street.
Mm.
And that is why incidents like Sunday night can happen. And Sunday night will not be the only one. Remember, some years ago, then down in Hanover, 9 people were shot, nine people killed in Hanover,
Mm.
right? And the police know all about these incidents before they happen. But because of Jamaica's law, and sometimes the criminals are highly connected politically and financially. Yeah? The police has to walk carefully what they do and how they do.
And is that because some police are going to be they're going to be sort of in a precarious position?
Yeah, and some police demonstrate just don't have any sense.
Mm.
You see, some police in Jamaica want a name that they are the bad man, they are the big man. Right? Instead of allowing members of the public to do what they, the police, should be doing, they want the credit that they took out this gunman and that gunman.
Mm.
Right?
It is very interesting because I believe with something of this nature there should be a joint efforts also with the opposition. What do you think? The opposition and the present government should be working hand in hand in this area.
Well, there are certain things that the government and the opposition should be working on, and crime fighting is one such thing.
Mm.
Right? Don't just come out when something happens and say you will work with the government to solve certain issues of crime and violence in Jamaica. It should be a moment of coming together with like-minded people,
Mm.
like-minded law-abiding people, because you have like-minded, criminal-minded people within the government.
Mm.
Right? And pass the laws to give the police enough powers to do what they need to do. I remember when I was serving in the 1990s, a certain commissioner came out in public to say that police are not allowed to carry high-powered weapons whilst not on duty anymore. And that statement alone gave the gunmen
Ammunition.
the power to do whatever they wanted to do, because if any police are come, they know that they're coming because they're in uniform.
Yeah. It is very unfortunate and it is very sad, and I just hope for the sake of the families out there, condolences to the families in Jamaica and condolences to a lot of persons. Somebody was saying that while they're talking about the 10, 8 or 9 persons who got killed, the person reminded and said, actually, this is what is happening in Jamaica every day. At the same time, it's just that that figure came up as one big figure there, you know.
Yeah, but you have 8 or 9 people being killed across Jamaica every day.
Exactly. Yeah, Gary, what's your last word on this bit? You know, I sort of have an idea what you're gonna say as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's something that, and it's not good for Jamaica, because Jamaica's trying to again trying to promote tourism and such, and you know, especially when something like this happens, it doesn't help. It doesn't help the situation at all. So I have to wonder why. Again, the question is, why has the Guardian picked this one amongst all the other crimes that's happening, and worse has
Oh, you
happened
mean
in
the
the
story? You mean the Guardian in the UK?
yeah. Why?
Yeah.
I mean,
No, you have to understand, Gary.
what
It
is
is
the
a tourism product.
yeah, but what
Yeah.
for what purpose this one in particular? Why this
Yes.
when you have said, Sylbourne have said, and I have agreed with what you say, that more than 6 people, sometimes more than 10 people dead in one day, and it's horrific circumstances also, but nothing is said. So there
The-
has to be some reason. There has to
I
be
think
some
what,
reason,
yeah,
and it's not nice. It's
yeah.
not nice at all.
I think one of the things they're saying about this particular one is whereby they're talking about the whole. Is it international? There are international implication in the sense of um, crimes are being committed by, as Herbert said, from prison, from someone overseas, or so like that, and people are just uttering or issuing orders.
Listen, again, Sylbourne
I
on
think
another point, because it was a point was made that the governments, now the PNP, the GLP, they've had this issue for many years. I'm sure the both of you can remember, even if we were all boys or children growing up, going to school. But you remember when Bob Marley and stand up between Siaga and Manley, hold up their
Yeah.
man, put the man together, and try to bring peace, because there was a lot of
Frictions.
fighting, friction happening. Now it's not only in the last 10 years, it's not only in the last 15 years that the government has had to deal with this thing. This thing has been and probably fueled by the very parties that we're talking about.
No,
They,
I mean,
as Herbert said, I'm sure it was Herbert who said, if it wasn't you, Herbert, it was Sylbourne, that they know who the perpetrators are. They know where they live. They know the car them drive. They know where them there 24/7, and they refuse until something happens. And then when it's as if also, and I could be wrong on this, Herbert, and you can always correct me on this because you're the expert on this, that it's as if these guys who are perpetrating crime and disorder and whatever, they have things to spill out on certain members of parliament or on certain members of the government or the opposition. And if they ever open their mouth, they have to silence them, because if they open their mouth, right, they can bring down the whole government. So again, sometimes it's a tit for tat or eliminate. So again, there's certain parts of the constabulary force that is criminalized. Totally, I agree with Herbert on that, because they are involved in criminality. They are involved in what's happening out there, but nobody wants to address that.
So nobody wants to bail the cat. Even that in another way of saying that.
how you gonna build a cat when if you speak, um, you run the risk of being poisoned or being shot or your car being messed around with so your brake fail or something. Everybody wants to live until they're retired, live a happy life. Well, their definition of happy is questionable, right? So one has to tread carefully what they do and what they say.
Yeah.
Very careful.
Well, it's very interesting. Well, you know that recently there was still the whole issue of Beryl, which is Hurricane Beryl, and people are actually trying to find help. I think JPS is still working hard. Some would say not hard in trying to give people back their lights. Yeah, people are still waiting for help when it comes on to Hurricane Beryl and relief. But there was a very interesting thing. A mate of mine, daughter, who is out there, and she's doing an 8K run for the whole barrel relief, and her name is Naomi Townsend, and there she is. Help Naomi run 8 kilometer for Jamaica
I mean, this
Hurricane.
is 8 year old girl.
Eh?
She's 8 year old. 8 years
Eight,
old.
yeah, 8 years of age, yeah, an 8 kilometer run. And her dad is a mate of mine. And there's the GoFundMe bit is right there. Yeah, so she I think she want to raise 2,000 pounds to help. And there's the help Naomi run 8 kilometer for hurricane relief in Jamaica. 1,400 raised so far. I think it has gone more than that now. 2,222 target, 68 donations. Um, it is interesting, and it is very good when we have a young child who feels that they want to actually help Jamaica. And this is a whole bit we're talking about identity, whereby they are somewhat feeling a level of belonging, you know, because I believe most Jamaicans home or Jamaicans who live here and they have their children, like my children, we everybody's Jamaican. Well, my children are from Ochuris, Herbert, just for your record, you know, original from Ochuris.
But hold on, Sylbourne, let me ask you a question. Robert, can I ask you a question, please?
Yes.
It's something a bit different from this, but it's to do with the Olympics. What exactly happened with that
Yeah.
runner? Is it that Jamaican? Is it American runner? Is it the 200 or the 100?
The 100.
Was it the
Or
100?
the guy that got COVID and in one
Yeah,
day.
what happened? I'm lost on that because I couldn't understand what the furor was. Can you explain that to me? What exactly happened?
You mean in the
No,
200 meter?
Well, the whole thing, because I'm lost.
He celebrated the gold medal before the race was even run.
The other side of it is that he's the first man who has COVID in one day.
So hold on. So I mean, did he lose his mind? Did he go bonkers or what? What was it?
I think he came fourth. Or what? He came third.
No.
Third.
All that means that Tobago gave him what he was supposed to get. A beating.
No, but I'm still lost. I don't know what happened.
No, I tell you, the man celebrated before the race was even run, before he even finished the race.
Listen,
So by the time the race started, he was tired.
Because I saw him in a wheelchair. I saw his shirt torn up. I saw him. I don't know. I mean, so I'm wondering, what is it that he did? What is it that they did to him for him to be doing all of that? And
no, it's what he did. It is what he did to himself.
So what did he do to himself?
He beat himself. He beat himself. Huh, Gary?
Why?
Yeah, Gary. There's something called race, right? You cannot race yourself. You're racing amongst humans of like-minded people.
Right. Okay.
But when you take it upon yourself to go celebrate before the races even start, yeah.
Oh my God.
You're going to embarrass yourself. Show up in disgrace.
I'm trying to find it. The guy run out, Virgin, and Papa lick and jump over everybody.
Yeah, man.
And I go on with that one. I mean, it was like intimidating. Bolt was fast, and Bolt, I was looking antic, but Bolt never gone like that. You know what I'm trying to say? You know, to a certain extent, you know. But the guy,
and all the characters that they had, I was impressed.
Yeah.
So that is the 100-meter race.
The 200 meters.
That's the 200 meters final.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
I don't understand, man. I don't understand. And he was representing the US. So,
No, man.
so,
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
president of the US, yeah.
so is he fast though? Normally, is he fast? Normally.
Well, depending on who we run against. Because if he was
Ah,
running in
here
a
it is.
soft
Here,
and
here it is.
usage style,
Here it is. Here it is. I got it. Okay, so everybody's running out now. Let me see. Let me go back to the start. Okay. So
Yeah,
this
man.
mischief.
So he blamed the loss on him having COVID.
yes. He had COVID.
It's
If
just
somebody has
Yeah,
COVID, they have COVID. You can't blame. If a person have COVID, they
that's
has COVID.
creating public mischief.
Yeah. Yeah, if you have COVID, they have COVID. That's the reality, man. Guy has COVID. You know?
So Rem never wear masks.
Huh?
Rem never wear masks.
Yeah. But I must say though, I don't know, it was very disappointing for Jamaica though, in a sense. Don't know what is the background with all which is happening. One of the ladies who were doing it, I think she's discus or shot put, she complained that her coach wasn't able to be with her. He was there, but he was able to be with her, so she licked out. And then the authorities in Jamaica, the officials are saying that she should apologize or she's not gonna go again. Mark,
Apologize to who? For
so
what?
maybe that. Mark, listen to this, She's an athlete, and she has apologized to the officials.
For what?
She's an athlete because she made noise and she complained and so
Do
like that.
they do the Jamaican authority or government knows that athletics is one of the few sporting disciplines where an athlete can move to a different country and compete for that country.
Yes, yes,
Apologize to who for what?
yes. Well, that is what they were saying, and of course with Shelly and Sharika and Elaine, these guys are sort of don't know what happened there, don't know what happened, but
Well, Elia didn't make it because she's not good enough.
yes.
But
Also,
Sharika and
yeah,
Shelly, I don't know what happened.
yeah. Also in the 4x400, is it the 4x400? The second girl dropped the baton, and I was saying to myself,
Mm.
would I go back and pick it up, or maybe it's the
No,
rules that I can't get it again.
no, I guess because of the rules, I cannot.
Just got the rules.
Once you drop it, that's it.
Yeah, so
Mm.
it wasn't great. I think only one goal Jamaica got, and that was the guy with the
Well,
shot put.
sometimes we have to go back and recalibrate. I mean, over the
Yeah.
years, Jamaicans have been spoiled,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And we have gotten so used to winning that we become complacent. That every time that we hit the track, we're going to win a gold medal.
Yes.
So over the years, Jamaica have been spoiled with a healthy diet of great athletes doing
Yes.
exceptional things on the track.
Yes. Well, listen, I want to thank everyone for coming on. Ted, King David, Richard, London, Jacqueline. Jacqueline, how are you? I know you're in Netherlands there. Hopefully come to the UK soon. I want to thank those who are on TikTok as well. I want to thank you so much for joining, and thanks for the love, the hearts, the what do you call it, the diamonds, and just remember to like and subscribe. And those on YouTube, thank you so much for joining. Remember to like and subscribe as well. Click the bell, and Facebook as well. Yeah. So guys, listen, have a great night, and we will see how things unfold in the UK.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, there are now, I believe, 6 contenders now for the Conservative, and it's going to whittle down to 4.
Are you one of them?
Gary's going to go to the conference.
Are you one of them?
On.
Are you one of them?
There's Kemi Badenoch, who of Nigerian ancestry, and there's James Cleverly of Sierra Leone ancestry. They're running for the leadership, and there's the former Minister of Immigration. There's Mel Stride, and then there's Priti Patel, which many people say, "Oh, please," you know. So on the conservative website, you have. I'm going to post each one of them each day. They are talking about like a 14-minute talk about what they're doing and so like that. The economy, as we can see, has sort of improved of recent days. Interest rate, Gary the big belly man, he dropped the interest rate to 5%. It was at 5.25. Pundits are actually saying it might go down more as well. There's been the transport workers, transport union also has made some good deal, I believe, with the train drivers, nurses and doctors got some good deals as well. The chancellor is saying that she got the worst economy, but actually every day you're getting very good reports. I said the economy is doing good, so I don't know what to believe, you know.
It's not
Out
down,
of good, out of bad come good sometimes.
Yeah.
well, it's not due to them, and at the same time, where are they going to get this money from if they're saying they're not raising taxes or anything like that? Where are they going to get the money?
Yeah. So many things are happening there at the same time. So, guys, Saturday night, we'll talk. Doing well.
Yeah,
Good
try
night.
and make it. Yeah, try and make it. Yeah.
I try and make it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try.
I try. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for tonight, and all the best, and peace out. Thank you. Peace.